everyone, my name is Kate, and this evening I want to teach you all about my very favorite hobby, which is dancing with fire. Now, most people who I meet outside of fire dancing circles say, Kate, what the heck is dancing with fire? I don't understand. So generally I say, have you ever been to a luau? Then they kind of start to get it. They say, oh, so you do the sticks with the two fireballs on the ends, and I'm like, well, sort of. I dance with poi and I dance with fans. So I got interested in dancing with fire when I was 19 years old. I was living in Berkeley, California for the summer, and I was taking classes and had a friend who was part of the UC Berkeley Polynesian fire dancing troupe. And frankly, I thought it was amazing. I mean, look at that, that's amazing. So I decided I wanted to learn. So I went to the one source where I could guarantee to find anything I wanted on the internet, and typed in the words fire dancing lessons, and sure enough, I found a post of a woman who was teaching fire dancing lessons. So twice a week for 6 weeks, I went to fire dancing lessons, learned a lot about performance techniques, learned a lot about fire safety, and our last class, we all went up to our roof and we lit up fire tools for the first time. So even though I could only make pretty giant circles and couldn't really do anything cool yet, I got the bug and I got it bad. So ever since, I have been dancing with fire. So people tend to ask me, is this safe? And I'm not gonna lie to you, there's some risk involved with fire dancing. But that's why I was inspired to give this talk, actually. I read an article in the paper last fall about a home in Aurora, Illinois, where the owners, who are fire sword dancers, had actually burned down their garage and caused $150,000 worth of damage to their home because they left a sponge soaked with fuel set out in their garage. Now, don't get me wrong, I have had plenty of fun with fire swords. I've even had friends breathe fire off the end of my fire swords, but I know, and now you all know, that you shouldn't just leave fuel sitting around because embers can spark and you can create $150,000 worth of damage to your home. So, just to backtrack a little bit, explain what some of the basics are. I mean, what do you need if you wanted to be involved in fire dancing? Well, first you need fire tools, you need fuel, and you need some safety equipment. So the tools are pretty much the easiest part. The wicking is made of Kevlar, and pretty much with Kevlar, with welding tools and your imagination, you can build anything you want and you can set those things on fire. And the next thing that you need is fuel. Fuel is pretty important. You know, this is actually one of the big ones that you didn't want to use anything like gasoline because it's too combustible. It'll set your face on fire and you really don't want that to happen. So instead you want to use things like white gas, kerosene, and lamp oil. This is what I like to call the double bucket method. You take a metal tin, you put your fuel inside there, and then you put it inside a bigger bucket. Because if your fuel gets set on fire, you want to be able to put the lid on top and be able to snuff it out right away. Now, clothes make the man and the woman in any situation, and especially when you are fire dancing. You want to wear all natural fabrics, and things like cotton, leather, wool, those are all acceptable. You don't want to use anything synthetic. I would not wear what I am presently wearing to dance in fire because synthetic fabrics will melt to your body, and that just means a trip to the burn ward, and nobody's happy with that. Hair is another important one. I'm sure anyone here who has ever experienced their hair burn, you know it burns fast and it burns stinky. So you need to make sure that all your hair is tied back. You need to wear a hat, other possible things, and you need a friend to be your fire safety watch. They'll snuff out your tools for you when you're done. They will also tell you if you set yourself on fire and you can't tell because it's the back of your pant leg and you can't see it. Also, any fire safety performer knows that you have to have a first aid kit for burns. Every fire dancer I know has extremely short arm hair. I have been fortunate enough to never burn myself seriously, but I do know people who have. It is quite serious. So, you know, before you start setting your tools on fire, you know, go through one last safety check. Make sure that there aren't any loose nuts or bolts on your tools. Get set, and then light your tools on fire. And fire dancing, it's seriously my favorite thing to do. I've made so many friends through fire dancing over the years. I've been doing this for 7 years. Never expected to get good at it or anything, but here we are. So if you want to learn more about fire dancing in the Chicagoland area, start following me on Twitter, Kate Houlihan. And if you're curious about what I do professionally, that's my LinkedIn too. Take care.